Sex. A word often whispered, debated, and exploited, but in its purest form, it is a sacred gift, a beautiful tapestry woven by the Creator himself. It is in the joining of two bodies, the complete giving of oneself to another, that we catch a glimpse of the divine union God intended. This act, so intimate, so vulnerable, is not merely a physical act, it is a spiritual merging, a reflection of the deep love between Christ and his church. From the very beginning, God designed sex to be enjoyed within the covenant of marriage. It was in the Garden of Eden that God created Adam and Eve, two individuals destined to become one flesh. Their union, blessed by God, was to be a testament to his love, a living example of unwavering commitment and passionate devotion. This is the sanctity of sex, a truth often forgotten in today's world. The Bible speaks clearly and without ambiguity. Sexual intimacy outside the bounds of marriage is sin. It is a deviation from God's original design, a distortion of the sacred. From the book of Genesis to Revelation, Scripture warns against sexual immorality. We are called to flee from sexual immorality, 1 Corinthians 6:18. Not to flirt with it, not to rationalize it, but to run from it, as if our very lives depended on it. Why such a strong stance? Because God knows the destruction sexual sin leaves in its wake. He sees the heartbreak, the broken trust, the emotional wounds that run deep. He desires to protect us from this pain, to guide us towards a love that is pure, lasting, and true. His commands are not meant to restrict us, but to liberate us from the consequences of sin. In stark contrast to the Bible's teachings, modern society embraces and even celebrates premarital sex. It is portrayed as a casual act, devoid of any real consequence. Movies, music, and social media bombard us with messages that normalize sexual promiscuity, making it seem not only acceptable but expected. This distorted view of sex has led to a culture of instant gratification, where commitment is rare and relationships are fleeting. The sacredness of sex, the beauty of waiting, the joy of giving oneself fully to one person for a lifetime, these truths are often drowned out by the noise of a world that has lost its way. But we must remember that God's standards do not change with the shifting sands of societal norms. His truth remains, a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. Many argue that premarital sex can strengthen a relationship, leading to greater intimacy and understanding. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. Sex outside of marriage creates a false sense of intimacy, a bond built on physical pleasure rather than genuine emotional connection. It introduces complexities and baggage into a relationship that can hinder true intimacy from developing once within the covenant of marriage. Furthermore, premarital sex can lead to a distorted view of love and commitment. When we give ourselves physically to someone before we are fully committed to them emotionally and spiritually, we risk confusing lust with love, desire with devotion. This can make it difficult to discern true love and build a lasting, fulfilling marriage grounded in trust, respect, and unwavering commitment. Section 5, A Gift Reserved. Sex as a blessing within marriage. Within the safe and sacred space of marriage, sex takes on a whole new dimension. It is no longer a fleeting act of pleasure, but a profound expression of love, a physical manifestation of a spiritual bond. It is a gift shared between two people who have pledged their lives to one another, who have promised to love and cherish each other until death do us part. The intimacy experienced within marriage is unlike any other. It is a vulnerability and a freedom that can only exist when two hearts are fully entwined, when trust has been established, and commitment is unwavering. It is in the context of this lifelong covenant that sex becomes the beautiful, fulfilling, and God-honoring gift it was always meant to be. Section 6. The Tapestry of Purity. Weaving integrity and strength. Choosing to wait for sex until marriage is not about repression or outdated morality. It is about honoring God with our bodies, respecting ourselves and our future spouses, and building a foundation of integrity and strength. It is a testament to our belief in true love, a love that waits, a love that respects boundaries, a love that sacrifices immediate gratification for a far greater reward. Purity is not a burden, but a badge of honor. It is a sign that we value ourselves and our relationships enough to wait for God's best. It is a declaration that we will not compromise our convictions for fleeting pleasures, but will stand firm in our faith knowing that God's way is always the best way. Section 7. Finding Freedom. Embracing God's Design for Sexuality. When we choose to align ourselves with God's plan for our sexuality, we experience true freedom. Freedom from the guilt and shame that comes with sin. Freedom from the emotional turmoil of broken relationships and shattered trust. We are free to experience the fullness of love and intimacy that God intended, a love that is pure, passionate, and enduring. This freedom is not found in following the dictates of society, but in surrendering to the loving guidance of our Creator. He knows us better than we know ourselves. He desires our happiness, our fulfillment, our wholeness. When we embrace His design for our lives, including our sexuality, we open ourselves up to a depth of joy and fulfillment that the world cannot offer. Section 8. A Call to Holiness, Living a Life Set Apart. In a world that often celebrates promiscuity and devalues the sacredness of sex, we are called to be different. We are called to live lives set apart, lives marked by purity, integrity, and unwavering commitment to God's truth. This is not always easy. We will face temptations, we will be challenged by the prevailing culture, but we must remember that we are not alone. God is with us, strengthening us, empowering us to live lives that honor Him. Let us stand firm in our convictions, knowing that the reward of obedience far outweighs the allure of fleeting pleasures. Let us be a beacon of light in a dark world, pointing others towards the hope, freedom, and lasting joy found in embracing God's beautiful design for sex and marriage.